without action, nothing actually happens, right? Like, have you ever noticed in your life when you just don't take any action, you just start looping on thoughts. You start going into the spiral, thinking negatively. When you take action, you literally like you beat the game basically. Like you can bend, not necessarily bend reality, but you can basically move yourself in the right direction in your life. You just need to know what the action is you're taking. And sometimes we overcomplicate it. Sometimes we set these super high expectations in our mind and it kind of suffocates us where we're stuck. We don't do the thing we need to do. And really, it's about action and it's about intention and it's about having the vision. You know, you need to have an intention, right? My goal is, okay, like, you know what the goal is. I want to go to the gym and train every single day so I can be in the best shape I can possibly be, right? That's the intention. You figured out the plan, you figured out the blueprint, you figured out the structure, but nothing actually happens unless you actually go and lift the weights. And that kind of can be applied to anything in life. You know, with business, you can have the business plan, the business model, you can think it all through, but until you start implementing it, till you start taking action, which doesn't require the mind. Like, action isn't about thinking, it's about doing. It's acting, right? It's doing the thing, being in motion. And you know, motion and action almost sound like a similar word. They have the same ending, which is quite interesting. So that's one thing I've realized in my life is whenever I feel like I feel like you need to build momentum, you know, with the business, with the coaching, with YouTube, everything. I just lost momentum, like overthinking, you know, just make a video. How hard is it? And when you do that, as I said, there's a thing called the law of diminishing intent. So the longer you leave something, the harder it becomes to do it. And you really need to just like snap out of that and just move. And once you get the ball rolling, you get it moving. And it's really about less thinking, more doing. It's finding that one thing you need to do and just getting it done, rather than making excuses, rather sitting in these loops. And sometimes you need something in your life to kind of put you into that state. Sometimes it's having a friend. Sometimes it's having an experience. Sometimes it's being embarrassed. All of a sudden you have this fire in you. Like, what have I been doing all this time? Like, why have I been sitting around like a fucking retard? Like, why aren't I moving? Why aren't I getting the ball rolling? And oftentimes this kind of attitude can burn us out, where, you know, what a lot of people do in life is, especially like New Year's resolutions and things like that, people go, oh my God, like I've wasted so much time. Like, I wish I'd have just started, you know, I need to just suddenly change my whole life, like at the snap of the fingers. And yeah, they get some momentum. They all of a sudden things are going well, but then they burn out and they crash and they fail. And I think the reason that is because you need to recognize you're not always going to be perfect. You know, you just need to do what's in front of you each day. And the best thing to do is have those key tasks, like really move the needle. Like, because, you know, action without intention is just stupidity. You know, being busy isn't always a good thing. Like, you have to be doing something with the right intention, right? Like, if you just do something for the sake of it, like if you just walked into the gym and just lifted weights, but you didn't actually know the form, you didn't know the correct way to set up, you didn't know the right rep ranges, what would be the point? You would just be wasting energy. So that's what intention is. Intention is, okay, I'm going to lift the weight in this specific manner with this type of form, and the action is doing it. So in your own life, you need to find where you haven't, like, you need to figure out, you need to like sit and think and ask yourself, okay, what do I need to do to move the needle? And you may or may not know the answer. Sometimes you need to and this is why mentors are so important, because a mentor will take away the need to, you know, the mentor essentially will give you the intention in many cases. Like, if they know more than you, you're essentially buying their knowledge and buying their wisdom. You're not having to fall flat on your face and make mistakes, you know, and you're a fool not to. You know, in every area of my life, I've always had a mentor. It's the only way I've got to where I am. And not that I'm saying I'm anywhere crazy, but I've come a long way in life. And I think if I had this attitude of I'll do it myself or do it by myself, I wouldn't have really got that far, you know. So it's super important to have that. But yeah, when it comes down to it, it's about having that action. It's about knowing what that thing is you need to do and just doing it. And oftentimes that's just like a very in the present moment thing. You can't really predict what's going to happen in a year or 2 or 3 or even in a few weeks. You don't really know what's going to happen. All you can do is what's in front of you. And I'm one of them people that really believes that we have this internal compass, this kind of internal system that kind of guides us and leads us towards our goals or where we're trying to go. Because if you just sat with yourself right now, because a lot of people don't do that, a lot of people don't meditate, they're not comfortable with themselves. You need to really like there's one thing I've always been good at. I can sit with myself. You know, I don't hate myself. I don't have self-hatred. I don't do you know what I mean? I know where I'm at in life. Yeah, sometimes there's things that are lagging or things I could work on. But if you're actively working on them and you know you are, it gives you a sense of peace. When you have a to-do list and you actually tick the boxes and you actually get them done, it gives you a sense of peace. But when you're missing those things, you're not actually showing up. You're not actually keeping your word on what you said you were going to do. You do feel this lack of confidence. You do feel this kind of lack of I'm not what I say I am. But the big problem I think is because people write too much stuff. They ask too much from themselves. Like when you structure it like that and you just keep it simple and you actually be realistic with yourself, what you can get done. That's the intention and that's the right intention. And that's where you actually get more done because, it's the tortoise and the hare. You don't want to burn out too fast. You want to have a bit more longevity. So action is key, guys. Action is key. And if an object in motion tends to stay in motion. So if you are stagnating in life, you're not moving forward, you're not making any progress, what you need to recognize is you lack momentum and you just need to build some. And a lot of times what I think people do too is they go to the gym, they start going to the gym, then they miss 1 or 2 days and they go, I failed. It's like, you've still got momentum, bro. 2 days is not that long. You can jump back straight in. It might be a tiny bit harder, but you can do it. Today I didn't go to the gym. I was going to, but then I realized I had too much stuff to do and, to travel and get the session done. And it's just a little bit too much. Also, I feel a little bit under the weather. So I'm just listening to my body. I'm like, okay, cool. Just take it easy. Make sure you're hydrating. Make sure you keep them warm and just giving your body its chance to get to its full self again. Be smart, be intelligent in the way you do things. I think people are just kind of, and we all have a unique path we're on and all, it's very interesting, all this stuff. But this video is kind of another example of if you watched my video a few days ago, you'll see that there's this very much intense kind of energy. Whereas today it's okay, I'm still being productive, still getting things done, but I'm just doing it from a different place. And I think that's the key. And it's about, like I said, having that intention, having that plan, having that blueprint of the thing you're following. When you have that, it gives you a sense of kind of comfort because okay, cool, I know what I'm doing. And then just doing it, then just taking action day to day. You need both. You can't just take blind action, but you also can't just think. You can't just plan. You can't just sit and plan, but never do anything. You need to couple the two together. And when you do that, when you mix intention and action together, you can get so much done. But the intention has to be the right intention. It has to be what is actually something you can achieve at this point in your life. So start small, make progress, and you'll see big changes within your life. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, drop a like, drop a subscribe. See you in the next one.